On Global TV News Prime, Nentawe Yetwa emerged as new All Progressive Congress National Chairman. Senator adjourns plenary till September 23rd. In business, federal government sets standard for CNG electric vehicles to boost auto sector. And on the foreign scene, United Nations agency says 6,000 lorries worth of aid ready to enter Gaza and urge Israel to allow access. In sports, 14th African Arms Wrestling and 7th Para Arm Wrestling Championship set to hold in Abuja. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world. The News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Now the news in full. The All Progressive Congress, that is APC, has named Professor Nentawe Yelwada as its new national chairman following the resignation of Abdullahi Ganduje due to health issues. Yelwada, currently Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and a former university don, emerged after a late-night meeting between President Tinubu and APC governors in Abuja. The party's National Executive Committee has ratified his appointment. The People's Democratic Party, that is PDP, has scheduled its national convention for Saturday, November 15th to Sunday, November 16, 2025 in Ibadan, Oyo State. This was part of the resolution reached at the National Executive Committee, that is NEC meeting, held in Abuja. The NEC mandated the acting national chairman, Ambassador Umar Damagun, and the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, to officially write to the Independent National Electoral Commission, that is INEC, to ratify and notify it of the planned convention. Our correspondent, Ubom Usoro, reports.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, held its National Executive Committee meeting, NEC, in Abuja, with key party leaders in attendance to discuss unity, reconciliation, and preparation for the upcoming National Convention. The NEC also approved the membership of the National Convention Committee and the Zoning Committee, aimed at ensuring a transparent and credible electoral process. The PDP National Chairman, Umar Damagun, expressed satisfaction with the resolution of internal disputes, describing it as a demonstration of PDP's commitment to dialogue and unity. He added that the party remains united, strong, and well-positioned to offer a credible alternative as an opposition party.
Members of POT, our commanders in the state, and our ex-officials who are present, please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. It is with great pride and a deep sense of honor to welcome you to this 101 NEC meeting.
Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State and chairman of the PDP Governors Forum urged the gathering to strengthen efforts to rebuild the party across all levels. He reaffirms PDP's position as the only truly national party capable of providing credible leadership. Reading the communique at the end of the meeting, the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Honorable Debo Olugodoya, reaffirms party's commitment to internal reforms and discipline. He announced the decision of the NEC to caution members against holding meetings with opposition parties and reminded them that the PDP remains the only credible and viable opposition platform in the country.
Sir, NEC expressed serious concern and frowns at the reported participation and involvement of the party members in the activities, meetings, and gathering of another people. Honor their appointed the elective national convention will elect the next set of national officers of our party will hold on Saturday, 15th to Sunday, 16th November 2025 in the Oyo State platform.
The party further called on aggrieved members to return to its fold, emphasizing the importance of unity and strategic planning ahead of the 2027 general election. Ubong Usoro for Global TV.
The Senate has adjourned plenary to September 23, 2025, marking the end of the current legislative year, with directive to all committee to conclude work on pending reports ahead of resumption. Topsy Ginba has the details.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, made the announcement after a closed-door executive session that lasted for over an hour. He charged all standing and ad hoc committees to make effective use of 2-month break to finalize their assignments in order to ease legislative consideration and adoption upon resumption. In his earlier remarks, Senator Akpabio also encouraged lawmakers to use the recess period to inspect road construction projects in their constituencies and across the country.
The suspension is just plenary sittings. All ad hoc committees should continue to work. All necessary committees, Diaspora Committee, Committee on Reparation, Committee on Interior, and others. This is the best time for you to undertake visits to prisons and all that. Do all your reports and make them available as soon as we come back. We'll have a special day to consider all reports. And then all the other committees, reports extended to you, you must also make sure that those reports are ready for Senate scrutiny when plenary commences. You are moving from plenary for the next few weeks, but you are not stopping your legislative functions.
Meanwhile, senators are expected to travel to Jos Plateau State on Friday to attend the burial of the wife of their colleague, Senator Dicket Plan, representing Plateau Central.
Tomorrow, we will all converge at Jos to bid the wife of our colleague, distinguished Senator Dicket Plan, Mrs. Plan, farewell as she goes back to her Creator. May her soul once again rest in perfect peace.
The long recess is an annual break for countries practicing democracy around the world, which by its annual calendar ends in June of every legislative year. Topsy Ginba, reporting for Global Television News.
The Nigerian Senate has refuted recent social media claims that the Constitution Review Committee proposed creating 12 new states in Nigeria. Senator Abdul Ninge, representing Bauchi Central, dismissed the report as false during plenary under Order 42, clarifying that the committee has neither received any zonal review reports nor deliberated on state creation bills. Topsy Ginba has the details.
It is fake, is toxic, and is an irresponsible media outlet. So it is important, Mr. President, to take this matter to Nigerians that the Senate has not, for now, sat on any committee's report from the zonal levels. The main committee is yet to even be received.
The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, also expressed concern about the spread of such misinformation, highlighting it.
The Federal Republic of Nigeria has not even concluded the processes of getting a final report for deliberation on constitutional amendment, and therefore no single state, proposed or otherwise, has been created. And even if that were to be the case, it will involve all the houses or assemblies in the country, and we must get their 2/3 concurrence before anything can come back to us.
Further clarifications emphasized that the ongoing constitutional review involves public hearings across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones, gathering suggestions, including requests for new states and local government areas. But no formal decisions or approvals have been made by the Senate or its committee. Topsy Ginba, reporting for Global Television News.
The Senate has held a solemn special plenary session in honor of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari, who passed away on July 13, 2025. The motion was sponsored by the Senate leader, Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele Ekiti Central, who described Buhari as a gallant soldier, accomplished Democrat and a patriot whose life symbolizes discipline, integrity and selfless service to the nation. Topsy Ginba has the details.
In his lead debate, Bamidele recounted Buhari's extensive legacy from his birth on December 17, 1942 in Daura, Katsina State to his military training in Kaduna, India and the United States. Led Buhari rose through the military ranks, serving during the Nigerian Civil War and holding several key national positions, including military governor of the old northeastern state, Federal Commissioner for Petroleum, chairman of the NNPC, and eventually head of state following the 1983 coup. The Senate noted his disciplined leadership style during his military regime and later his historic democratic journey that saw him becoming president in 2015 under the All Progressives Congress APC and his re-election in 2019. Senator Bamidele also highlighted Buhari's numerous national and international awards, including the GCFR and decorations from several African and European countries. He also pointed out his role in establishing the Petroleum Trust Fund (PTF) and championing massive infrastructure investments during his tenures.
As I move this motion today, I am reminded of the transcendent nature of the human life. However, our consolation is that our former president led a successful and fulfilled life, both as a gallant and courageous soldier who rose to the peak of his career as a military officer and also as a successful Democrat.
During the session, lawmakers took turns to eulogize the late president.
But one thing that remained clear and in line with the preponderance of opinion of Nigerians is that President Buhari was a man of integrity, a highly principled person.
There are very few Nigerians who have the privilege and the honor and the mercy and grace that God gave to Buhari to lead and serve a great nation like Nigeria, and he served for the full 8-year tenure and retired back home. Very few Nigerians. It's a great honor that God gave him.
Mr. President, as many of us have said, was a man of integrity. Not only that, he was a very, very humble person.
President Buhari, for now, is still the most celebrated president even after death. You could see the way the state burial was arranged, which was the most elaborate and the most expensive state burial we have ever witnessed since 1960.
The chamber resounded with bipartisan reflections on Buhari's controversial but impactful leadership, with lawmakers agreeing that his memory will endure for generations. The session ended with a final moment of silence as lawmakers stood in reverence for the departed leader. Topsy Ginba reporting for Global Television News.
In a related development, the House of Representatives has held a valedictory section in honor of Nigeria's former president, Muhammadu Buhari, who passed away on July 13, 2025 at the London Clinic in the United Kingdom. House of Representatives correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
It was a solemn moment on the floor of the House of Representatives as lawmakers pay glowing tributes to the late former President Muhammadu Buhari. Leading the session, Deputy Speaker Honorable Benjamin Kalu described Buhari as a man of rare integrity, humility, and unwavering commitment to national service. Deputy Speaker Honorable Kalu also highlighted key legislative achievements under Buhari's administration, including the Not Too Young to Run Act 2018, the Petroleum Industry Act and Climate Change Act 2021, the Electoral and Anti-Money Laundering Act 2022, as well as the 2023 Constitutional Amendment on prisons, railways, and electricity.
President Buhari's tenure as president from 2015 to 2023 was a period of unprecedented legislative productivity, a demonstration of his willingness to collaborate with the 8th and 9th assemblies. Under his watch, 129 bills were signed into law, an impressive legislative record. These were transformative laws that address long-standing challenges and reshape Nigeria's legal framework.
Lawmakers from across party lines extol his contributions to Nigeria's democratic development, particularly his commitment to anti-corruption, national unity, and institutional reforms.
In his own words, I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody. This singular statement captures the essence of service to Nigeria.
He also made a foray into the electoral and democratic reforms, where he signed the Electoral Act 2022, which introduced the electronic transmission of results. He didn't also stop there. He also made achievements in the petroleum sector reforms.
Death is something that will come to us all, and it's time for us as leaders to reflect and do what is right by this country. President Buhari had his flaws like we all do, but he will continue to be someone we all look up to, and someone that we will love to live half of his life.
He's a very good man, very honest man. A man of few words. He does not talk too much, no dogon turechi at all. He tells you how he feels, and that's it. He does not make too much statements.
Members of the Green Chamber commiserated with the late president's family and called on future leaders to emulate his discipline, simplicity, and patriotism. Recall Muhammadu Buhari served as Nigeria's president from 2015 to 2023, following a distinguished career as a military officer and former head of state. The House observed a moment of silence in his honor as Nigeria continues to mourn the passing of one of its most prominent statesmen. Annie T. Patrick, Global Television News.
Governor Hope Uzodinma has observed that lasting peace and security in Imo State's border communities are key to the thriving state's socio-economic development. The governor stated this while inaugurating the new Imo State Boundary Committee, which is expected to strengthen boundary management and promote peaceful coexistence among the community. Our correspondent Amarachi Ibe reports.
Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma emphasized that effective boundary administration is crucial for resolving disputes and preventing conflicts. He called on the committee to carry out its duties with dedication and transparency.
And charge this committee to be diligent and do whatever it will take to return peace in the disagreeing communities in Imo State and in handling all boundary issues in Imo State, so that Imo State will have peace, bring prosperity, and the enabling environment that will guarantee the realization of our aspirations as a government.
In her response, the chairman of the committee, who is also the deputy governor, Chinyere Komaru, pledged to work with the stakeholders to peacefully resolve boundary issues and strengthen unity across the state.
We work hard to perform the duties for which we have been inaugurated today, ultimately adding value to your administration and bringing happiness to the great people of Imo State, which is your heart's desire.
The committee is expected to help maintain peace, build stronger community relations, and promote good governance throughout the state. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, federal government sets standard for CNG electric vehicles to boost auto sector. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's take you to the world of business, where the federal government has launched new national occupational standards for compressed natural gas, that is CNG, and electric vehicles as part of efforts to reposition Nigeria's automotive industry and accelerate the country's clean energy transition. This was disclosed by the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator John Eno, in Abuja during the public presentation of the new standards. Eno emphasized that the move demonstrates the government's practical commitment to industrial competitiveness, clean energy adoption, and workforce development. The House of Representatives has launched a sweeping probe into the Nigerian's downstream oil sector, focusing on refinery maintenance, crude access, and Dangote Refinery's alleged market dominance. Committee Chairman Ikenga Ugochinyere said the House would revisit the OVH Energy acquisition and examine multiple petitions from oil marketers and retailers. Lawmakers are also considering amending the Petroleum Industry Act to address emerging gaps and ensure fair competition among the sector. The federal government has inaugurated the governing board of the National Automotive Development Council, that is NADDC, to strengthen the council's capacity to effectively oversee and drive the development of the Nigerian automotive industry. The Minister of State for Trade and Investment, Senator John Owa Eno, charged members of the newly constituted board to reposition Nigeria's automotive sector for industrial development and global relevance. Ubong Usoro has the details.
The National Automotive Development Council was focused on promoting local manufacturing, enhancing industry's contribution to national economy, as well as fostering sustainable development in the automotive sector. The Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator John Owa Eno, emphasized the need to revive local vehicle production, attract fresh investment into the automotive manufacturing, and drastically reduce Nigeria's reliance on imported vehicles. He says the inauguration signals a renewed commitment by the government to transform Nigeria's automotive sector into a job-creating and revenue-generating industry.
I urge you to approach your duties with dedication, with diligence, and forward-thinking approach without interference in the day-to-day administration of the council. I charge this board with the following key responsibilities: strategic planning, policy formulation, stakeholder engagement, infrastructure development, skills development, attracting investment, promoting local content, promoting CNG and electric vehicles. It's so important.
In his remark, Chairman of the Governing Council, Chief Emma Enoko, pledged the board's full support for the federal government industrialization efforts.
Our task is to work with patriotic resolve and strategic foresight to reposition Nigeria as a major hub for automotive manufacturing assembly.
The Council is saddled with the responsibility of implementing the National Automotive Industry Development Plan, NAIDP, aimed at boosting local production, setting industry standards, promoting parts manufacturing, and facilitating technology transfer. Ubong Usoro for Global TV.
And now, To the foreign scene, at least 12 people have died in military clashes between Thailand and Cambodia over a disputed border zone that dates back more than a century. Thailand accuses Cambodia of rocket attacks, while Cambodia claims Thai forces violated prior agreements near a historic temple, escalating the violence. Thailand has shut its border. Cambodia has downgraded diplomatic ties, and both sides have evacuated thousands from affected areas amid rising tensions. Now, from the world of sport, power, pride and perseverance are on full display in Abuja as the 14th African Arms Wrestling Championship and the 7th Para-Arm Wrestling Championship have brought together 400 athletes from 20 African countries, turning Nigeria's capital into the battleground for Africa's fiercest grip on glory. President of the African Arm Wrestling Federation, Charles Osai Osibe, says the event marks a new milestone for the sports development in Africa. We keep you abreast of any development as it will unfold on the news. 9 players from the NPFL champions Remo Star headlined Nigeria's final 23-man squad for the 2022 CHAN tournament, as coach Eric Chile looks to end the country's title drought. The Super Eagles B departed for Zanzibar for a final training camp and warm-up matches ahead of a group clash against Senegal, Sudan and Congo. The CHAN tournament, which runs from August 2nd to 30, will be co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, features domestic league players from across Africa. Here we end News Prime, but before we go, here is a recap on our top stories. On Global TV News, we told you that the All Progressive Congress, that is APC, has named Professor Nantawe Yetwalda as its new national chairman, following the resignation of Abdullahi Ganduje due to health issues. The Senate has adjourned plenary to September 23, 2025, marking the end of the current legislative year with a directive to all committees to conclude work on pending reports ahead of resumption. In business, the federal government has launched new national occupational standard for compressed natural gas, that is CNG, and electric vehicles as part of effort to reposition Nigeria's automotive industry and accelerate the country's clean energy transition. And on the foreign scene, a United Nations agency says it has 6,000 trucks worth of aid waiting to enter Gaza, as it warns that hunger crisis in Gaza has never been so dire. And finally, from the world of sport, power, pride and perseverance are on full display in Abuja as the 14th African Arm Wrestling Championship and the 7th Para-Arm Wrestling Championship have brought together 400 athletes from 20 African countries, turning Nigeria's capital into the battleground for Africa's fiercest grip on glory. And that's it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thank you for watching.